All right, I will call the Plan Commission meeting to order in person and via Zoom on Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 at 4 p.m. Um, Roll call, please.
Commission Member Ciccarelli,
Present.
Commission Member Kesnick,
Here.
Commission Member Scholl, Commission Member Huff, Council Representative Schultz,
Here.
Chairperson Manager Hausman,
Here.
Director of Public Works Navin.
Here.
Okay, new business. We have review and possible action relating to the minutes of the August 26th, 2025 Plan Commission meeting.
I previously submitted remarks that I made during the meeting, and those were accepted by Michelle, and I want to thank you for that. I understand that's the city's policy not to include additional commentary that doesn't affect the outcome of an item. I'd like to see that reconsidered going forward. And the reason is that the public record of the meeting in form of the minutes is really the only way that other people are going to learn what was discussed. And if you reduce it down to summary level, ideas and considerations that were raised are never captured. So other people in the city's staff may learn of things that were discussed at the Plan Commission while having to attend the Planning Commission, and members of the public, of course, this is public record. So I've served on boards elsewhere, and I've found it useful to learn the background of a project by reading minutes. And I know that's probably not something everybody does, but it's a value. So I'd like to see that reconsidered. Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the August 26th, 2025 Plan Commission meeting?
Move to approve the minutes of the August 26, 2025 Plan Commission meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the Plan Commission? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Next item is the concept plan for a planned unit development for Premier Bank parking lot. This is PUD 2025-03. Mr. Drager.
Yes, thank you. As said, it's a concept plan review, which does not require action this evening. It is mostly to bring it to your attention that this is something that would possibly be moving along and what we'd be looking at presenting to you at a later date. As you know, Premier Bank is downtown here. They have existing parking, and they also lease parking from next door from Beamfang's Bar, which is to the north side of the Premier Bank on the upper right corner of that picture. Across the street is a dilapidated building and a vacant lot. It's mostly gravel that they are proposing to combine those two, take the building down, combine those two lots and create additional parking. I believe it is 15 parking spaces. It would also have cross access. Of course, easements would have to be granted from neighboring properties to create this parking area. One of the things here is the concept review is because they're proposing a planned unit development in this place. The off-site parking is generally not permitted in the downtown historic mixed-use area. But in this circumstances, the PUD does allow for a process where flexibilities can be found when it is found to be needed or necessary or favorable for the city's perspective. In this case, there is some stormwater, also some city infrastructure that runs under and behind a majority of the buildings on the west side of North Main. It's an 8-inch sanitary line that runs underneath a couple of the buildings and is in need of repair. Now, this is an opportunity to have a joint effort in some ways to get an easement through there and reinstall or install a modern sanitary line through this area, as well as with this improvement, there would be removing a dilapidated building, improving the aesthetic to the area. There's also some concerns in the future if that parking for Premier behind Beanfangs would be available to them, and then they may be short. In general, it is meeting the comprehensive plan for the city. It is found to be, there are some conflicting things, but through the PUD process and in general, like I said, it's increasing some green space. Um, You can also see that there are some flexibilities that would need to be permitted through the PUD process, particularly the land use, some access. There's dual access to the street permitted, typically through one access point is permitted. In this case, it makes sense to have two, but those are the flexibilities that are pointed out in the zoning ordinance that would have to be sought through that PUD process, as well as some setbacks and some parking and traffic circulation. I also should mention that there are some stormwater infrastructure. I maybe mentioned that, but Premier has expressed some willingness to work with the adjacent property owners to make some corrections there as well, where there would need to be additional stormwater for the new parking areas, but improvements as well for the adjacent property owners whose current stormwater is not functioning as it should. Like I said, there is no action on this item this evening, but I would welcome any questions along with this concept view, and I'll leave it at that.
Jed, do you want to talk a little bit about, city staff has had a conversation with Premier Bank for several years about this project. And one of the things I just want to point out that we did request was a parking study. And on the screen right now is one of the maps from that parking study. The parking study was included in the packet.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, the parking study was conducted by Premier Bank, hired a company to do that traffic study per the city's request to see if there was ability to gain parking on the street rather than creating a new parking area and taking down buildings, which generally we would like to see buildings maintained or constructed in the downtown rather than more parking areas. However, through that parking study, they also looked at creating that a one-way street. And in general, with the number of openings that are currently there into current building sites, parking areas, they did not see a significant increase in parking by creating a one-way street and putting angled parking or whatever variation they researched. So that traffic study ultimately showed that making improvements or changes to the street did not improve the number of parking spaces. I think it was maybe 1 or 2 spaces is all that they could come up with.
Okay, questions from the Plan Commission?
Question about the existing 2 parking spaces on the space marked existing concrete behind 106 South Main. It's signed for resident parking for 104, which is the apartments whose sign is on North Water. How would the proposed parking area address those 2 spaces that are currently signed for that apartment?
Currently, what we have for a plan here is the 2 parcels that Premier Bank owns, and then creating cross-access easements for some of those. As far as the actual parking spaces there, that would most likely not be part of this unless Premier Bank were to approach them to make this part of their parking arrangement.
Could you explain what's meant by cross-access? Is that simply allowing people who are bound to and from those existing parking spaces to use one of the 2 driveways that are proposed?
Correct. So currently thank you. There's a entrance that would go from the private parking space that is currently existing, which is 2 separate parcels. So the angled parking in the middle and the one at the top are 2 separate landowners, and the buildings to the left. The cross-access easement would be that space that that access going from one parking area to the one that's being proposed.
It's actually not what I'm referring to. Towards the left side of the combined proposed parking lot is an area that says existing concrete. It's a series of rectangles to the left of the trees.
So-
That's where there's 2 parking spaces assigned or signed for the apartments.
Correct. Those are on a separate parcel altogether and not part
But
of.
their access is currently through the gravel lot, is it
I
not?
see what you're saying. Yes.
So that
So-
should be incorporated in the proposal or decisions made regarding this, should it not?
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Is there a curb cut on behind the building that's labeled?
As far as I know, there's a curb cut that goes, it's quite a large curb cut that's there now.
Yeah, so I don't think that access is entirely from, they might use that, but I'm trying to pull up a um,
Do you want to come up?
yeah, Russ, I'm gonna can you state your name and address for the record?
Russ Turk from Premier Bank. Technically, there's enough room. It's small, but there's enough room for one vehicle to go through on that access to get to those three parking spots. Currently, there is no easement to go across the gravel lot that we own right now. Now, that could be addressed, but in speaking with the landowner and the property owner that owns that, they don't see that that's an issue.
Proposed condition, curb cuts along.
John?
Okay.
Yep,
The proposed condition for the curb cuts along North Water would be a new and better defined driveway, would it not? Or would it still be this wide opening that serves both those parking spaces I was referring to and the new parking spaces in the center alignment?
There's really three curb cuts there, two that are on our parcel and one that's on the property or the parcel to the west of us. So the curb cut would be that accesses those parking spots that you're referring to is there as well. We have two curb cuts, one that facilitated access to the building that we're proposing to demolish, and one curb cut that is there that accesses the gravel.
It's that leftmost or latter curb cut I'm thinking of.
Think you could, can I go to the map and point? I think there's. The existing building, there's a curb cut going into the existing building right here. And I think there's actually two right here. I have to go look, but I was out there today and I thought I saw three.
I realize it's a different property ownership, but in terms of urban form, I'd like to see a single driveway, not a big wide driveway. It's not like we have high volume traversal of that by vehicles, so it's not really a safety issue. It's just a matter of consolidating driveway openings.
I think the difficulty that you have with the proposal is that if you don't have two, see here, there's one right here. That gives you access to these concrete parking spots, and there's an access here. And then if you go further over, there's an access right here. Right. And the reason being of having two on our proposal is that we can bring parking all the way out. Back here. Have an access to the other side over here.
I fully
Russ,
understand it. So
no one on the Zoom can hear you when you don't have a microphone, so I just want to point that out for the folks on the Zoom.
So if you look at it on Google Maps, there's three access points there. One that's in front of the white building, and one that's in front of the gravel, and then one that's in right behind the property to the west on Main Street. So in looking at the proposal that we're trying to do is we're trying to efficiently grab as many parking spaces as we can. And in order to, if we're going to eliminate, then we're likely going to eliminate an access point, then we're likely going to have to eliminate some parking spaces as well.
not at all suggesting that you eliminate the left access point. I'm suggesting that that the area just to the left of your parcel be considered as a whole. I know it kind of complicates the thinking, but you might be able to get head-in parking pointed towards the backs of those buildings. And then we have seen it handled in other towns is that you sign the parking spaces that have to remain dedicated to those buildings. And what you get is double loaded parking instead of single loaded. It's just, it's awkward right now. It's like a remnant.
What do you mean by that? I guess I'm not clear on what you're trying to.
Well, in the photograph that we just saw, there was a car parked
Yeah.
with its driver's side parallel to the back of the building. If uh, if that is a parking space, then that's one consideration. But if that car is just getting in and out of the head-in spaces on the back of 106, then it could use your leftmost driveway that you're proposing. So I'm not saying get rid of the driveway. I'm saying why have this big wide space for basically the same vehicle movements? Maybe I'm nitpicking, but it just seems like the left side of the proposal is not well defined.
I think the map that we're looking at right now on the screen is a rendition of what the proposal might possibly be. It certainly isn't to scale. And we don't have access to that other parking or that other entry point. So I guess my point to you is that if we eliminated the one that's on our land to the westerly edge of our parking spot and go to the other one that's behind the building on Main Street, if that's what you're proposing.
I like your proposal. It's just that it leaves kind of a weird edge on the left side because there's an immediately adjacent functional driveway along the back of 104. Uh, I, it doesn't make sense to me. It seems like it's incomplete. I realize that if you consider just what you own as its own slate and ignore the adjacent buildings, then the development proposal makes a lot of sense. But there's this extra space in the back of 104, 106. It just seems unresolved. That's all I want to say.
Okay, so from that standpoint, then how would you propose that we would resolve that? Because then that's adding additional cost to those landowners and they may not just, they may say, well, it's not necessary.
I'm not suggesting a solution. I don't have a solution in my pocket. I'm just saying it seems to me it could use a little additional consideration. Overall, I think what you've got is two logical parking lots, one each served by your two driveways. That makes a lot of sense to me. It's just, I wonder if some additional thought might be given to how the backs of those buildings interface with your left-hand parking lot. I realize it's a single parking lot for a development proposal, but it functions as two separate circulation spaces.
Okay.
Other questions or comments from the Plan Commission, either for the applicant or for city staff on this concept plan?
I had heard or read, but I couldn't find it upon second reading, that there was consideration of a mid-block crossing on Water Street. Am I imagining that? The plan that I saw didn't speak to that location. I can imagine where one would go, but I just wanted to ask that question.
Yeah. Yep, there's commentary in there for cross access.
Wait, a cross access?
So a middle access through across across Water Street.
A
Pedestrian.
mid-block crossing, like with a crosswalk? Or,
Just mentioning, yeah, that should be looked at, yeah. This is like, once again, this is the concept, so we don't have the full designs of everything. This is, preliminary look at these with the concept, and many of these things will be analyzed down to pedestrian cross access, pedestrian access in general. All those things will be addressed through a full review.
so right now we're, the Plan Commission, before the Plan Commission tonight is just this is the first step in a planned unit development process, which is the concept plan. So there is not an action to be taken by the Plan Commission. It's just providing feedback to the applicant. The more formal action will be at the next step, which is the general development plan. And then the final step is the site implementation plan. So any other feedback on this concept, which generally is the demolition of a downtown building and the proposal of a parking lot that hasn't been completely designed yet. Any other questions, comments, or feedback from the Plan Commission on this matter?
From city staff standpoint, being able to take advantage of this to create that easement for some of the work that we need back there in sanitary would be a great opportunity for the city there to address those needs.
Okay, thank you for that. Does not seem like there's any other questions or comments, so we will move on to the next agenda item, which is review and possible action relating to a condominium plat for Habitat for Humanity located at 700 Schumacher Way. This is CPR 2025-02. Mr. Drager.
Yes, thank you. Yes, this is a previously created lot, an area that was rezoned. Actually, there was some changes to the comp plan amendments that were actually made for this development as well. Ford Healthcare, as we remember, vacated a portion of 4th Street to bring a lot of their facilities back to their main site. And during that proposal, they developed 4 residential lots with potential for more development to the east. This is a parcel on the corner of McMillan and Schumacher Way. It is a 2-unit home with a detached garage, which also has 2 separate units. And this is the review of that condo plat, which will separate that ownership of those 2 units. Along with that is the condominium declaration that determines what parts are indeed individually owned and which parts are a combination and owned by the condo association. And then sets those guidelines on how often they have to meet, who's responsible. And this is just establishing the site, and the condo plat, of course, is establishing the site, but along with that, the parameters of that condo association as well, which were provided in the packet as well. It is meeting our ordinances for setbacks. The building in general, building is already under construction. It's permitted use, so it was permitted to be built. But as it stands, without this approval of a condo plat and condo association, it would be individually owned by one member. But in this case, you would be allowed to parcel or have 2 separate parcels and 2 separate ownership units here with the approval of the condo plat. So with any other questions, city staff does recommend an approval of this. We find it is pretty straightforward and a good use of the duplex lot, as it is owned by Habitat for Humanity, and will be another 2 living units.
Thank you for that. Questions from the Plan Commission for Mr. Drager?
Not really a question, but first of all, I'm a Habitat construction volunteer, and I actually spent half a day out there at the initial volunteer meeting, helping to tweak the construction fence and carrying back additional segments from Lemke. This is the first time I've actually looked at the plan view for the garages, and what struck me, and it's probably the horse has already left the barn, but it's unfortunate that the garages are situated so far back on the lot that they have a huge hardscape to get them to Schumacher. And if I looked at the parcel just to the south on its garage opens onto McMillan. And it occurs to me you could take those 2 garages maybe and put them in line with Unit 1 and Unit 2 buildings with a short driveway to McMillan. Same exact function. You get a huge east yard and a very functional southeast yard. Like I said, the horse may have already left the barn. I fully support the condominium agreement. I think that's a necessity and a no-brainer. But this seems like the garages could work with the parcel in a way that would increase the amenity to the 2 owners quite a bit. And even to the extent where you might consider, if that was even still possible, granting a variation so that those garages could be placed near the south property line. At the south property line, you'll see a side-facing garage, so you're not getting anybody's view or the amenity of the south, the owner to the south.
Mhm.
And you get a much nicer yard.
Okay, thank you.
Jed, do you have any
Yeah, there,
information from the applicants as to why they set it up the way they did?
no, there wasn't really a discussion on how they
Well-
decided to go about that. We did make it known that they could choose, you know, a front facing building with access, from a different street. This is ultimately what they chose to do. I do know costs do have some play, in their decisions. Obviously the hardscape does have some financial, impact as well. You know, just looking at it, I think maybe with each space having a little individual portion of the backyard, moving the garage up directly behind it would give a distinct advantage to one unit over the other for what you would call your usable space. Just for my opinion, looking at it, but we did not have an actual discussion between Habitat for Humanity and myself or city staff on whether they should move that garage to face the other street.
Okay. Well, I guess if they in the future want to change it, they would be able to come back through the process and do that.
Correct.
Any additional questions or comments from staff or for staff, I should say? Okay, hearing none, any discussion amongst the Plan Commission relating to this condominium plat? There is none. We would entertain a motion to approve the plat as submitted by the applicant.
Could I move to approve with the addition of the commentary? How does that work?
I guess I don't understand what you're trying
I
to.
want to make sure that my comment gets through to the applicant.
The applicant is actually on the Zoom call.
Okay, great.
Okay. So is that a motion to approve then?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any final questions, concerns, thoughts from the Plan Commission on this? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Next item is update on previous Plan Commission approved projects. I don't have any updates prepared, but if there are questions from the Plan Commission about previously approved projects, I would be happy to answer them, or Zach or Jed as well.
I'm curious whether the two industrial flex buildings down at the business park are moving along.
We have not received site plans yet. So they are planning construction spring. So we would anticipate getting final site plans, building plans, all of that over the next several months. Any other questions? Okay, the next item on the agenda is adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. We are adjourned at 4:28 p.m.